performers, I've seen performers, people I've performed with, people I've heard perform. You know what I'm talking about. And a meditation teacher can tell you a little bit more about that. So I gave Greg a word. I said, it's kind of like everything coalesces. Big smile, yes, right? You know the experience of it. Even if you're not thinking about it in terms of music, there is something we all have or do, and we understand this experience. We know exactly what I'm talking about. And for you, it might be gardening, or it might be time flies. It might be something that you feel like you do in solitude, or it might be something that you do in a large group. But you know the experience of feeling in tune with yourself and with your surroundings. And Greg and I talked about some of the qualities of this. So there's sort of a timelessness to it. Yeah? If you know if you have something that you can think of that feels familiar. Tai Chi, bicycling, running, cooking, anything. When you engage in it in this way, there's a timelessness to it. Yeah? Which means what? Well, like time flies and time stands still at the same time. You don't know which. When you think about it later and you're kind of back more in the realm of normal and you know what time it is, and you can't quite tell which one it was. Did time fly or did it stand still? Kind of both. So that's one of them. Another quality is a quality of connection. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Coalescence means everything coalesces, right? Think about the term coalescence. If you cook, maybe you think about that point at which you've done all the activity of putting everything into the soup. And now it's going to kind of gel. It's going to meld. Right? And the whole thing comes together into a whole that's different than all the little parts that you put in. This is what happens in a meditation, in a concert, is the whole becomes itself. And there's kind of an authenticity and an integrity to it that's recognizable, it's palpable. And he knows when it's happening, and you know when it's happening. And you've probably been to concerts where you walked out and you said, wow, what was that? So I give you a term for that. It's coalescence. He hopes for that for all of us. He wants that. This is a very low pressure situation too. I want you to be sure that you understand that. There's something really important about authenticity and integrity in this. So for example, and here's some meditation instructions for you that come into play as well in this concert. You really have to show up as yourself, completely yourself for this. So you might hear these instructions. I start to hear it as I'm paying attention to it, as it's coming out of my mouth. We're interested in creating this. Well, gosh, like, I don't think I should move while this is happening. No. You have to be yourself. You have to breathe and relax. And Greg and I talked about this. Like, what would happen if on that day you were coming here and there was something you were very sad about? Something that's just really strong, that's sad to you that day. And a lot of times people get confused with meditation instructions and they think, well, whatever is kind of working around inside you, you're trying to, like, fight it off so that you can be present, right? Like if there are a lot of thoughts about the sadness on that day, well, to try and, tamp them down so that you can be present to the concert. That's not what we're talking about. Thank God. Because that would be hard. So I asked him, what would happen if somebody were really sad that day And this is what they authentically brought with them. And you're playing, and what the composer is asking you to portray in a movement, in a moment of the music is very sad. Someone who's showing up completely present to themselves, their own authentic moment that's, got a richness of sadness with them. When they connect with that, they might weep in the playing of it. And of course, for an artist, what could be more beautiful than to have somebody connect with the composer, with the performer, and what they themselves all have in common, and to express it for themselves. It might actually be kind of cathartic or cleansing or sweet or anything. And there might be some notes of embarrassment and maybe even a little sense of I shouldn't weep during this, but then this is my most authentic moment right now, and so tears. In my book, when I come to a concert and there are tears as a result, A+. That's a great concert. Yeah? You love that. I told Kanta before I began talking, I said to her, I wonder what I'll talk about today. Here are all these notes. Some of it came out. There's never enough time. That's what I found last year too. So, but I hope I've given you a little flavor of what's important to Gregg, and how you're an integral part of that. With Gregg, with any performer, and then even to think about how you're an integral part of any interaction that you have in that same way. Whether there's someone who knows and has explored and talked and wants to be able to quantify this out loud like I do, or you just hang out with whoever you hang out with. When you're in engagement in what you're doing, there's something beautiful about that. That's my highest ideal. That's what I'm interested in. So take your homework home with you. Do some homework. Some people get turned off by homework. Pick a word that will work for you and then do it. If you decide after a week that you're very interested in this and you want to learn more about it, I teach about this, about cultivating your attention at the Center for Health Promotion now, part of Concord Hospital. So I brought copies of the class listing. And if you'd like to take a reach magazine, not only myself, but lots of other teachers at the Center for Health Promotion, through lots of means, yoga, Tai Chi, Zen Tangle, meditative drawing. Oh, you have to try Zen Tangle. Take a copy of the Reach magazine and come and learn more about it at the Center for Health Promotion. So we maybe have 2 minutes for some questions, if there are any questions. I'm sorry I didn't leave more, but is it? Yes?
I'm very interested in your ideas about, I hear what you're saying about focusing and being very attentive to music. But one of the things that I notice in a really good concert, or if I'm listening to a really good recording, is that it almost, I can get to an almost meditative state in the music where my deep thoughts come bubbling up. In fact, I almost never go to a concert without taking a small notepad, because some thoughts and creativity and ideas come up that somehow have been tamped down by all the other busyness. And I noticed when I was in college many decades ago, the best way I could study was to listen to the Bach cello suites. And it somehow freed everything else in my brain so that I could actually concentrate on the course material.
Wonderful.
Even though it wasn't music, it was other stuff. But in some ways that seems almost contradictory to what you're saying, because the music freed me to think.
Yes. The use of music Maybe that's the title for next year's talk, I don't know. That came up between Greg and I, and it comes up a lot with my meditation students too. Professional musicians here, I hope you're okay with the fact that we use music this way. But of course, you get to know what's conducive. What's most conducive to opening up this source of creativity, of your capacity to engage. We all have different ways of it. And so to know it for yourself and to know it that early and to be able to use it, congratulations, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
And on another note, these meditative listening could be used while practicing music to deepen our own techniques, our own level of expertise, either before or listening during.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I'm just an amateur singer, but what's happened in my singing since I started meditating is testament to what you're talking about. Another good talk, maybe. There's so many places. I mean, Greg and I have gone many places with this, and there are a lot of places that it takes you when you just start to open your mind to what the possibilities are. Yeah. All right, well, I want to thank you all for coming. If there are more questions, come up, there's plenty of time. And I hope to see you next week.
Nice.